Hey there, this is Rick Yoder again, and in this video I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of this student grade platform that I created using Node.js. So as you can see here, this table is empty. This was essentially the same assignment as I did earlier in the course, WD6, but this time we're just using Node.js basically. So for the name field, I'll just put in a name here, put in Rick, put in a grade of 90. Then we're going to add the student. And the student ID is 6. It's supposed to be an automatic increment value, but I was doing some testing before this, so that is why it's at number 6 right now. So ignore that for now. But then we have my name, we have the calculated grade letter, and then we have the grade percentage. Now if I wanted to change this to say 50 and click on the edit button, it automatically changes the grade letter to an F. If I change it to, I think 60, changes it to a D, 70 would be a C, 78 I think, no, 80 would be a B, and then 90 would be an A again. So I can keep adding students if I wanted to. I'm just typing in random stuff here, don't mind that. Maybe type 20 for this student. And then if I want to delete the student, all I have to do is just click the red delete button. Now I do have some client-side validation here. This is an input number, so you can't input any text into this field. You can only type in numbers essentially. But if I go to inspect element, and if I change the type to text instead of number, let's say I'm a hacker and I'm trying to get into the system, or I'm trying to do something I'm not supposed to. So I type in a name, and then I type in this is a grade. If I try clicking add student, it'll say at the top, please input a valid number. And this also works for, I'll give you an example. This also works for these inputs right here. So if I wanted to go and if I wanted to change, well actually that already is a text input, so I can actually just start typing. This is a grade. If I try clicking edit for that now, it's going to give me the exact same error essentially. Now if we open up the code here and we look at the post for this route, first you can see I have the validation here, but then I also have my query. I build the query based on whether or not we're adding, we're editing, or we're deleting. And then from there I run the query, and then I render the resulting page, or just the this view essentially, with the new results once the query has been performed essentially. So we get the latest view for this page essentially. But this right here is where all the validation happens. So first we check if the student percent is not a number. And if so, we will just fetch the page as it was before. And then we'll also just return this error to the pug view. As you can see here, we have it right at this line right here. Basically, if the error exists, we output the row, then we output the column. Otherwise, that just doesn't get output at all, which is fine. Other than that, that's just about it for this assignment. There's not really much else I can say about it. This right here is the calculate grade letter function, or calculate letter grade function, I should say. And this is basically where the magic happens for the grade calculation. So depending on the grade that's put in here, first we want to validate, and we want to convert this to an integer essentially. So we use the function parseInt, and then we assign the variable letter to null, and then we go through all of our ifs and else statements. or should I say if and else if statements, and we just validate, depending on what the value of this grade is, what letter grade the person actually gets, and then we just return that at the end of the function. And then this is the rest of the view. This is exactly the same as the first assignment that I did earlier this month with PHP. So basically, all I'm doing is I'm just creating multiple forms at the top of the document here, and then I'm just assigning these text inputs and these buttons lower in the pug here. I'm just assigning those, I guess you could say, manually to that form at the top, essentially, the corresponding form based on the student ID, basically. And then I have some external assets. I use jQuery and Materialize to get this wonderful look and feel. Anyways, thanks again so much for watching, and have a good night.